So let me start. Okay, so I was starting to I mean we were looking at the permutation group Sn. Then we found that any S in Sn is a product of cycles. And it might have lambda 1 lambda j cycles of length j, right, such that j lambda j summation j is n. Okay. But it is understood that this, when I write the cycles, no two of them have the same lattice. For example, I can go on adding unaries 1 1 1 1, then this won't work. So you should make sure that each letter occurs only once. Okay. So we found that if I now define not lambda j, I call this alpha j, right? Alpha j. Okay. Then I write lambda 1 as alpha 1 up to alpha n, lambda 2 starts at alpha 2 plus etc. Then you see that summation lambda I, summation I alpha I is n. Okay. And from here lambda I 1 is larger than or equal to lambda 2. Okay. So with this we represented by, I called a Young frame, a Young diagram or frame. Okay. If lambda k is not 0, but lambda k plus 1 is equal to 0, we draw the diagram of depth k, that is you have lambda 1 boxes, then you have lambda 2 boxes up to lambda k boxes, and you stop here. Okay. Okay. So this is a Young frame. So this is a characterization of a Young frame. Tells you the cycle, it gives you the cycle structure of a permutation. Yeah. Now I want to prove okay, a conjugacy class in Sn is completely is determined by its cycle structure, by all its elements having same cycle structure. A conjugacy class in the permutation group is characterized by cycle structure. If you give me a part, that means a partition of integer n. This is a partition of integer n. Okay. So a partition of integer n where the lambda i's fulfill this, and of course lambda I are integers. This one fixes a class. So the number of such frames in Sn determine the number of irreducible representations and inequivalent irreducible representations. Okay. This is the basic result.
How is the Young frame related to this?
Young frame, if you give me a Young frame, this is a length L1, lambda 1, lambda 2 and so on. Okay. Then the difference of lambda 1 minus lambda 2 is alpha 1, which tells you the number of cycles of length 1. Okay. Lambda 2 minus lambda 3 gives you the number of cycles of length 2 and so on. So I infer the cycle structure and hence I get the conjugacy class. Okay. So proof. Okay. Suppose G is product of cycles. Okay. Then if I take any element, call this something else S. Okay. Gs inverse, G inverse is GS1 G inverse GSK G inverse. So I will prove A G some any S SK Sn Si S G inverse and Si are cycles of same length. I thought you are gone. Good. Okay, we will prove this. Secondly, we will prove B. If Si Ti are cycles of same length or period, okay, there exists G such that GSI G inverse is Ti. That will prove the result. The proof is rather easy. So consider if G is, let us say 1 G1 n Gn, then G inverse is G11 Gnn. Okay. Now I want to consider G, and I take a sum cycle. I will use the same notation as here, A1 up to Ak. Let me look at G inverse. I want to show that this is also a cycle. Okay. Here if I G inverse is this one. So in the G inverse, if I take G1, it goes to 1. So GA1 here goes to A1, and A1 here goes to, did you go? Yeah. Sorry, GA1 goes to GA1 goes to A1, and A1 goes to G. A1 goes to A2 here, then A2 goes to GA2. Right? Here I want to see what I get. So I know that this one takes A1 to A2. So let me see where this A1 may come from in G inverse. A1 will come from GA1, that will go into A1, A1 goes into A2, A2 goes into GA2, okay, right. Likewise GA2 will go into GA3 and it will go into GAN, okay. So which is of this AK. So that is proof, finished, okay. That's a proof. This is a cycle of the same length. I am just chasing, remaining things won't change because there are remaining symbols here, this does nothing, so they cancel out in this inverse. Okay. Conversely, okay, also if suppose I take B1 up to Bk, given I want to get here that thing, just choose this, choose, okay, GAI is equal to BI, so this will go into that cycle, okay. The remaining things does not matter because they will get cancelled out on the other side, okay. So we have completed the proof, okay, that the conjugacy classes in the permutation group are given by the partitions of integers, okay. So for example, I will give you examples, okay. Suppose I get a example, let us take a set, okay, and I take something like, it has to be a partition of 8, so I take 3, 2, 5, 1, 1, 1, okay. This is many times written as 3, 2, 1 cubed. Has one unary, the cycle, okay, this is a class with one unary, right, because 3 minus 2 is 1, one cycle of length 2, 2 minus 1 is 1, okay. Then what, nothing here until this is one unary, one of length 2, none of length 3, one of length 4. I will check it out, okay, by, yeah, that is correct, no? 3 I have not written it there, but you can see, here 3 minus 2, here 3 minus 2 is 1, okay. So one unary, one of length 2, none of length 3, I should say none of length 4 and one of length 5. No, this is no. The cycle is the difference between the boxes, because between the lengths of the boxes. Okay. If I have a lambda, if I have a partition lambda 1 up to lambda k, then lambda 1 minus lambda 2 is number of unaries, lambda 2 minus lambda 3 is the number of cycles of length 2, and so on. Okay. Because we start with this formula, I alpha I is equal to n, where lambda I, lambda 1 is alpha 1 up to alpha n, lambda 2 is alpha 2 plus etc., and so on. Okay. This formula, if I have one cycle of, suppose there are alpha 1 unaries, alpha 2 or length 2, alpha 3 or length 3 and so on, then I have this sum rule. Okay. I rewrite this as a partition of integers by adding up. Okay. So, to recover the number of cycles, I have to take the difference of the lengths of the different rows in the Young diagram. Okay. Okay. Now, I will not prove this, but now I want to. So we have come into the major thing, but I will give you, okay, before I even start, okay, let me give a formula for dimension of IRR for a Young frame. Now after that I will start discussing this frame business. This is called Hooke rule. You hook the diagram. Okay, I don't know how to write it, but suppose I have a diagram like this. So this is a dimension D. Okay, so I write D as for Sn. Okay, you write factorial n divided by this is S2. S2 plus what is this? This is S3 because lambda 1 plus lambda 2 is 3. Yeah? You write factorial 3 on top. Then product of lengths of hooks. What is a hook? So here this is a hook 1, okay, length 1. Length is the number of boxes the hook cuts. Okay. So here it cuts 1. Then there is another hook going up here. Okay, this is second hook. This length is 1, 2, 3, right? And there is one more, is 1, right? So this is equal to factorial 3 divided by 1 into 3 into 1 is 2. Okay. That is this is that you have to dig into Berner or ask her. Maybe she knows the proof. You have to dig into books. I will not prove it. Okay. It's actually I don't know the proof. I mean because it's a counting it's combinatorics problem. We'll see why the combinatorics come. Okay. So it's a combinatorics problem which is given in I know that it's given in Berner. Okay. Maybe other places. I don't know of any simple proof. But it is simple to remember, right? Hooks, Captain Hook, if you have read. Huh? Amri. He has given a proof.
He has some lecture notes on his website. There's various proof of the validity of that.
At some point I just learn the rules because we use it all the time. I mean if you go into SUN and so on, these rules are very helpful, okay, for counting representations, but where they come, I know where they come from, but because there is another theorem which I will state here, and it is a counting of certain diagrams, okay, counting, combinatorics problem, okay. So one has to see how the combinatorics is.
I can say one thing it helps, because the representation which corresponds to the shape of this partition, you realize the representation as a coming from an action of this vector group on a set. So it comes from what's called a group action. And then these diagrams, which are really counting are some sort of relative positions of with that formula there, that ratio of factorials and difference, that's counting relative positions and things in the group action.
I have already proved for them.
So there's a general principle in the background, actually.
Yeah. I have already shown them that the regular representation contains every irreducible as many times as dimension, okay, and given the character formula. So I have actually proved it, okay. It's not very difficult, okay. So in the process of reduction you get all these things, that's what she is saying, okay. All these symmetries and all kinds of things, okay. For example, you can do this activity for S4. Let me make some representation like S4. S4 is actually rather, say, I can do 2 and 2. For example, this is an allowed diagram, right? It's only inequality. This means that there are no unaries, okay, and there are 2 cycles of length 2. Okay, there are what? This minus this number of unaries, which is 0. This minus this number of cycles of length 2. Okay. Yeah. Number. Yeah, this is correct. So what is the dimension here? So it is factorial 4 divided by hooks 1 into 2, 1 into 2 into 3 into 1, right? 2 into 3 is going again. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4. It is 4. Right? So this gives you a 4-dimensional representation. Okay, and so forth. Okay? You can keep going. Okay. Okay. Now, what I will do now? Okay, is to. Okay, I want to prove a very simple thing on transpositions. Then I will go into first is any permutation. I have not proved this, no? Yes, is a product of transpositions. Okay, and then for any S is a product of cycles. Okay, that we know. Okay, we proved. Now, so if so, consider. So, but let me look at this. If I take S1, S2 and multiply by S1, S3, what is this? It's a product of 2 transpositions. Can you tell me what this is? It is S1 goes into S2, S2 does nothing, right? S2 goes into S1, S1 goes to S3, and S3, so it is this. Okay. So it's a cycle length 3. Now suppose I multiply again by S1, S4, S1, S2, S3. Okay. This will be S1, S2, S3, S4. Right? By the same logic, S1 goes into S2, this doesn't do anything until I hit S1 goes to S2, so S3 goes into S1, S1 goes into S4. Okay. So it just goes on, so I can generate any cycle like this. give me a cycle, I will just break it up into transpositions. So this proves, so hence if you give me a cycle like S1 up to Sk, it is S1 Sk, S1 Sk minus 1 up to S1 S2. Okay. And finally, okay, the following statement is a theorem. Okay, the number of transpositions, the this way of writing is not unique. Okay, okay, the number of factors, number of transpositions, okay, okay, in the decomposition, in above decomposition, number say D in above decomposition is not unique, because the square of a transposition is 1, right, since clearly SISJ squared is identity. So I can add these things. Okay. So number of I cannot, but the evenness or oddness, this one minus 1 to the power of D is, there is evenness or oddness of the number of factors is unique. Okay. We can prove this in a variety of ways. Okay. For consider, this is one way, consider the van der Monde determinant, you know it, van der Monde probably. You know what it is? Yeah. So delta of x1 up to xn, which is determinant of I think it is 1 x1 up to x1 to the power of n minus 1, right, 1 xn xn to the power of n minus 1. That is correct. This determinant, huh? Van der Monde, that is a Slater determinant. Okay, it is construction is similar. Here, there is one way to antisymmetrize wave functions. So you write here the wave functions of the individual electrons. Okay, that is called the Slater determinant. So antisymmetry. So, but this one is a determinant which is the product of I less than j of xi minus xj. You can prove it in many ways. Okay? You can see that there are zeros when any xi is equal to any xj. Okay? Then you can count the highest degree to which each one of the x's occur. That will tell you how many factors there are. Okay? How many zeros you can put in. Then overall sign you can fix by some specific examination. Okay? So this is a van der Monde determinant. Okay? Let S act by permutations Sn. On delta x, on delta x, on delta, on xi. Okay. Since delta this one x1 xn changes sign under a transposition, right, because it exchanges the two rows. Okay. It cannot be that S can be written in two ways, because it will, you get delta S, it cannot be, okay, if S is both even and odd, you will get delta or x is minus delta of x, which is wrong. Okay. First act with even, cannot have this, because that will mean delta is 0, but this determinant is not 0, okay, identically 0. So this is one way to prove it. So there is a unique sign you can associate to any transposition, any element of the permutation group. We will use this later. Okay. Now consider the following. What I propose to do is the following. Okay. So I am going to do reduction of regular representation. Of Sn. This is kind of the last topic I will do in finite groups. Then I will immediately go into Lie groups. Okay. Basically Lie groups of interest to physicists. Lie algebra, Lie groups, all these Casimir operators, all those things. Okay. So what I will do is recall the following. Okay. That, okay, for left action of G, okay, the group algebra is a vector space, splits, okay. Let me write direct sum, two direct sums, okay, like this, where, okay, for fixed, okay, alpha labels IRR of dimension sigma alpha, okay. The dimension of this alpha is labeling an irreducible representation of dimension sigma alpha. There could be more than one irreducible with the same dimension, I do not know anything about that. And J for fixed alpha alpha, L alpha j carries the IRR, okay, labels IRR gamma alpha, let's say gamma alpha carries the IRR gamma alpha, right. So dimension as a vector space of L alpha j is sigma alpha for all j. This is a vector space for fixed alpha of dimension sigma alpha, and when I acted the group G, if I multiply on the right left by L alpha j, this is contained in L alpha j. Okay. The two labels one is telling you for a given alpha how many times the same representation occurs. Okay. By the way, the direct sum of all this on J, this whole thing, is somehow what they call central thing, central decomposition, because this contains, when you put all the equivalent representations together, that is not irreducible, but they call it central for some other reason which maybe we will discuss. Okay. And the projection from Cj to that subspace is called the central projector. Okay. I mean, if you write like this, I can find a projection operator. This is a vector space, these are subspaces, so I can try to find projectors which go from here to any one of these. Okay. They are called, these projectors are called minimal idempotents. Okay. And so there is a whole vocabulary surrounding it. Okay. But they come up in this discussion of entropy and junk that we have been doing. Okay. So anyway, this is what it is. G acting on this, you get back here. So what I want to do is, we will find the following. Okay. What will I find? Okay. Okay. A basis for each L alpha J. Okay. I will find a basis. Okay. Then you can find the matrices. Okay. The matrices of some S in G or Sn, okay, in L alpha J, in this representation, can be found by acting on basis. But there are actually, again, I think Werner has some formula, okay, which I have not studied deeply, but it is there. If you want, someone wants it, one can look it up. Okay. But once I give you the rules of finding the basis, in principle you know the answer. Okay. What is the idea? The idea, okay, is the following idea. The following statement is true. Take C, the full, for each, okay, let's say, I remind you, okay, the definition. A left ideal in an algebra that's right, A left, okay, in an algebra A, okay, this is a subalgebra, such that A acting on AL is contained in AL. So all these L alpha J are left ideals, okay, because so L alpha J are left ideals. From here, G leaves it invariant, any linear combination of elements in G will leave it, because this is a vector space here. So these are left ideals. So what we are trying to do is somehow to find the minimal amount of minimal left ideals. Okay. There should not be a subspace in L alpha J which is also a left ideal. Okay. So the remark is the following. Okay. Now for X fixed in the algebra in CG, this thing Ax is a left ideal, right? Because if I write on the left here, this X is standing, this contains all such elements. So this is idea, okay? Find the X's in a proper way. So what we will find is, the trick is, the whole idea here is, we will find a family of projectors, let me call it E alpha j in the algebra. What do you mean projectors? E alpha j, okay, squared is E alpha j, such that, okay, 1, okay. If I sum it on alpha and j, E alpha j, I get identity. So I am decomposing the identity of the group into a family of projectors. The way I am going to do it, they won't be orthogonal. If I take product of them with different indices, I won't get 0. Okay? But you can make them, you can make slight change of some more massaging, you can make them orthogonal. But it is not essential because of this equation. Okay? And find L alpha j is equal to A E alpha j. Okay. So this is what I am going to do. I will find these E alpha j's. Then I will find a basis for each L alpha j. Okay. Okay. Now, I have defined the Young frame, okay. A Young tableau, I will take it. It is often in the physics literature, a tableau and a frame is mixed up, okay. But a tableau, Young tableau, is a Young frame in which the numbers 1 up to n, okay, are inserted, okay, in any order, in any way. For example, there is no rule here. For example, if I take 1 2 3 is fine, okay, 3 1 2 is fine, and so on. Of course, you don't repeat, you exhaust 1 to n, you put them as you please, but you exhaust 1 to n, okay. So from here there are, we see that there are factorial n Young tableau. You have to be really sophisticated. No, the plural of tableau is tableau. I think I got it right with an X at the end, okay, for a given frame. Okay. Now, for a given tableau, Okay. A permutation P is horizontal if it permutes entries along only rows. Okay. So I can write here horizontal, I can also write here vertical columns. So a horizontal permutation P, okay, so vertical means Q, okay, I say right here Q. For example, in this tableau 1 3 2, okay, clearly a P is 1 3. And if you want 2, nothing. Okay? A Q is equal to 1 2. Okay. So, what is a grand statement, okay, about this? Yeah, I can even give the grand statement. Okay. That is, for a given tableau, like theorem, I will give you examples. Let P is summation all horizontal ones, Q is summation epsilon QQ, where epsilon Q, okay, is equal to the signature of Q, Q is a permutation, so it is even or odd, okay, so it is minus 1 or plus 1. Then A, PQ whole squared is constant times PQ, which you can normalize, but I have not normalized to, I mean, so you can make it 1, I mean this constant can be made 1 by division, and but I am not normalizing, I will do it later. B, this object CG times PQ carries the IRR, okay, an IRR, okay, carries IRR given by frame.
Carries the isotypical component or the
Sorry?
carries the entire isotypical component or the individual summit.
It carries exactly a representation of dimension given by the hook law, nothing more. Okay, but if I choose, there are so many. I will tell you, this is the rule. Okay, this PQ is called Young symmetrizer. I will give you examples. I will give you immediately examples. இதுவரை எல்லாம் வந்ததில்லை பார்த்துருங்க, என்ன போயிடுதா வருதா? this carries, okay. The problem with this is there are so many, note, so let me note, the different tableau there are so many of them, factorial of them, right? Okay. For same frame, give equivalent representations, right? That's obvious. Yeah? It may even be, it will be, it will be, okay, that if I take A P Q, I look at the intersection with A P prime Q prime, this is not the 0. I mean, this decomposition is not a direct sum decomposition. Okay, there are too many of them. This is because of the fact that there are equivalent representations. Okay. So some will give you 1, the second will give you some mixture of 2 columns, okay. 2 equivalent. If you have equivalent representation, you can take combinations of them, okay, and that will also carry the same representation. Okay. So it is not so we need to know, okay. You will see how to separate them. Okay. You will see how to find this L alpha j, therefore. The idea, as what I want to say is, the central idea is quite simple, but the problem comes when you try doing this. Okay. That I think Young must have found it, or Frobenius, I don't know who found that, okay, this result. I don't know where the historically, all these were done already in 19th century, okay, and historically I don't know who did first, but clearly Frobenius did a lot, I would say. Okay. Now let me look example. Sn. Okay. I take this diagram 1, 2, n. Okay. P is summation of all group elements. This is all permutations in Sn, because if is only one row. Q consists of identity. Okay. So we can see, if I take any element T acting on P, this is summation Ts, but this is P again, the change of variables. So what? So T goes to 1, and this is a trivial representation, okay, and gives trivial representation. And clearly all the factorial n ones here tableau give the same representation, right? Because I can write these entries in different ways. All the this one n factorial tableau, for example, thing like this 2, 1, 3, etc. give same, okay, P. Even P doesn't change. Now the other thing I can consider is this one, completely N. Okay. Is simply column. Okay. So in the column thing, Q, P is identity, whereas Q is summation epsilon QQ. So I can ask, what is SQ? What is SQ? It is going to be epsilon Q SQ. Okay. But this is equal to epsilon S times epsilon of SQ SQ. Right? Because if S is even and Q is even, this is even. Okay. So S is even and Q is even. This should be even, which will be. S is odd, Q is even, should be odd, this okay, and so on. So then if I multiply by epsilon S, I get back this, right? Epsilon SQ is epsilon S epsilon Q. Okay. Then epsilon S squared is 1. So here, so this is the representation, the IRR, where even S goes to 1, odd S goes to -1. This is the representation. This is faithful representation. You remember I did this. IRR of Sn over An. Okay. An is the alternating group. Of even elements, right? We have seen that the even elements in Sn form an invariant subgroup, okay, and the factor group is Z2 or Z2. Okay. So here all the even ones go to 1, orders go to -1, so it is a true representation of this quotient group, this is Z2. Okay. This we have seen, okay, I mean not this one, but this quotient group, this we had discussed long ago. Okay. So today I will stop here, and next time I will write down this L alpha j, the projectors for L alpha j and the basis. Okay. Then we pass on, okay, to other things. I think that is exactly the time, so I stop here. There are other ways of writing the permutation group, but you can go on talking about permutation group till you fall. I mean, you should not go overboard, I think. No? You'll fall dead. So many things they are writing. Okay? There are special representations due to people like Schur. There is some special way of writing. It's quite nice. Okay? There is some way of writing a representation depending on the depth of the Young diagram. There is one way of writing representation using auxiliary vector spaces. It is very useful in discussing statistics, but I will not do those things because we won't have time. I think that's it.